Hi guys, this is Nadia Andreeva from spinachandyoga.com, and this is a series of Happy Belly interviews. And today I'm very excited to introduce you to an author that I really admire and who also has written lots of cookbooks, lots of information online and in print to help people heal their gut and in general heal inflammation in their body. And I know that by now you're already well aware that those two are very much connected. Julie Daniluk is originally from Eastern Europe, the same way as I am. And she was actually starting originally in the George Brown Theatre College, and she found that she was reading more about nutrition than Shakespeare and had developed an insatiable appetite for figuring out how and why food affects our health. And then she decided to pursue a new direction, attending Canadian School of Natural Nutrition to become a registered nutritionist before going on to become co-op owner and chief in-store nutritionist at one of Canada's largest health food stores, the Big Carrot in Toronto, Ontario. Since then, she has been published in a #1 best-selling author, Meals That Heal Inflammation. She has been a co-host of Oprah Winfrey's network's Healthy Gourmet, a cooking show that navigates the marriage between gourmet taste and healing nutrition. And she also has been featured in over 600 various magazines and TV shows, from Dr. Oz to CTV's Canada AM, Canadian Living, House and Home, Vitality, Alive, Reader's Digest. So Julie, I'm super excited to be speaking with you today. Thank you for being with us. Thank you. Well, you just mentioned that if you have a happy tummy, you have a happy life. Can you expand a little bit on that? Why is our happiness and emotions are so much connected to the health of our gut? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're definitely so very much linked. I want to get back to your personal story for just a second before we keep talking about healing the gut. You mentioned that you became interested while studying theater. You became interested in nutrition. Usually, people have some sort of a personal story that gets them to be interested in nutrition. What was it for you? Oh, wow. Wow, that's a story. It's pretty incredible, yeah. Um, I know that a lot of women in different degrees struggle with binge eating and overeating. How does that actually, you mentioned that it can ruin the health of our gut. And I think a lot of people don't really think about it this way. They think, well, overeat, then it's just going to take a little bit longer to digest and then it's going to be back to normal. How is it ruining our gut? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's a process. It's definitely a process that you can't just do overnight. So if you have been binge eating for a long time, it's not that you start taking probiotics and it's all gone within a week. What are some strategies that you use to break the habit? Because I think part of it is physiological, but part of it is also psychological of really recalibrating your brain. What helped you to change your behavior? Mm-hmm. And it's amazing because I was actually reading the book yesterday about binging, and it says that even going through therapy and creating lots of other changes, there's only about one third of people who completely recover, and the rest. Um, yes, it's on and off, but right now it's good. Can you hear me now? Yeah, if anything, I'll edit it out. It shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, so one of the things that I was reading yesterday in a book about binging is that only about one third of people who have a binge eating disorder, they recover and the binges become less frequent, but about two-thirds never actually recover. So it's amazing that you were able to reframe your approach and stop that behavior. Thank you. Mm-hmm. That's, yeah. That's such an amazing insight. Thank you for sharing that. So your book, you talk mostly about inflammation, and while a huge part of it is about healing the gut because that's the core, but it also covers other inflammatory diseases. Can you talk about what other disease, whether it's chronic or something that's temporary, can stem from inflammation? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's talk about food and the way it can help to reduce inflammation because a lot of people will go for like a juice fast in the hopes of healing inflammation. And that's not always sustainable and can often lead to those binge behaviors. So I'm very grateful that you introduced a way for people to cook tasting delicious meals that can actually reduce inflammation because a lot of people they just can't eat bland food all the time for long periods of time. Yeah, the bitters. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes, in Ayurveda is the same way. There are six tastes, and each taste has a place on the plate to create a balanced meal. So I love that you're bringing up all six tastes and the effects that they have on our body. Let's before we dive into really healing ingredients, let's talk about some foods that I know most people who are watching it, they know that soy that is genetically modified is a no-no, that gluten is a no-no, that regular dairy that you buy at the store is a no-no. Lots of processed sugar, caffeine, all of those things have to go if we're healing the body. But there's lots of confusion about certain food groups or specific foods. And I think grains is one of them right now. They're getting a really bad rep among paleo people. There has been several bestseller books that say that grain will create poor memory and lots of neurological diseases later in life. So, what is your opinion on grains and grain-like seeds such as quinoa or buckwheat? Um, should somebody keep them in limited quantities, or is it something to be excluded? Love amaranth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And And yeah, I really like the fact that you're bringing in the individuality and saying that it's possible for one person to feel good having a particular product in a diet and somebody not. And I think part of it is, where did our ancestors live? What is our body used to eating? So, in this respect, let's talk a little bit about raw dairy. Um, because I know that a lot of people thrive on having it in their diet, and a lot of people might be addicted to it, but their body doesn't like it. How would you? What is your opinion about dairy, and do you think the genetic aspect affects that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I think a lot of Japanese, you'll see once they come to the US and they start having dairy, they'll have lots of skin issues. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and it's really interesting how people will equate everything. If they're thinking of dairy, then it includes all types of dairy. And I really like that you differentiate saying, well, there's goat, there's sheep, there's milk, and there's ghee, which is probably the easiest because there's no milk protein. And then we can probably move into fermented dairy. But in like raw, whether it's raw or regular milk or heavy cheeses, those would probably, even if they are in diet, be in very limited quantities. Yes. Yeah. Love it. Let's talk a little bit more about specific healing foods. And one of them is fermented vegetables that I wanted to bring up. Yes. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Good. I love carrots and ginger. Yeah. What other healing foods do you include regularly in your diet and recommend people to include? Hmm. Yeah. 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 Good. Well, is there anything else besides spices that you think? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that you talk about food with so much passion and you're so knowledgeable. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom. If people want to get meals that heal inflammation or your new book, um, which is, again, it also heals inflammation, but it's mostly for people who want to lose some weight, right? Mm-hmm. 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 Well, I can't dive in. Mm-hmm. What is the website? Yeah. Thank you. And guys, we're going to put all the links right below the video so you can click on the link and download, get your access to the 3-day detox. I'm definitely going to try to do it. And Meals that Heal Inflammation is going to be a perfect accompanied guide for the happy belly. I think both books will go so well together. So you have some good reading in front of you and some amazing meals. Thank you, Julie, for being with us.